Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm Christina and I'm a homeschooling mom of 5 kids, ages 18 months all the way to 13 years old. I am super excited about today's video. This is a completely impromptu video, hence the no makeup, who knows what my hair looks like at this point, and I'm in my overalls. I really wanted to share with you guys about homeschooling on a budget. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my favorite free and cheap homeschooling resources. I really love sharing with you guys all of the amazing resources out there that I discover. At the same time, I know that everyone's budgets are different. So I know that some people have a way bigger budget than me, and I know some people are dealing with a budget that is similar to mine. And I know that some of you may be in seasons of life or simply just have a lifestyle where you're like, all of these things are great, but these things aren't in my budget. Or maybe you have a large budget, but you really don't want to spend a ton of money when you don't need to. So one thing that I'm trying to challenge myself with this upcoming school year is to truly homeschool on a budget. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to buy a resource that isn't super cheap or only use things that are free. However, I do believe that you can homeschool pretty close to free, if not free. I know that there are families that do this. The most obvious resource for me in terms of not spending a lot of money to homeschool your kids is the library. Realistically, I wouldn't have to buy any books, right? Sometimes my library or the libraries in my network don't have a specific book that I'm looking for, but that doesn't mean that I have to buy it. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But we don't have to purchase any books, moms. We don't have to do this at all. We can utilize whatever is available at our library. I would say that whether the books that we're looking for are at our library or not, I'm sure there's enough at our library to cover almost any topic that we want to cover in our homeschools. So before I even show you like tangible resources, I just want to throw that out there that like this may be super obvious, but I would be remiss to not say utilize your local library if you want to homeschool on a budget or if you need to homeschool on a budget. Next, I want to say utilize the many free resources that are available, that are out there. There are so many that I couldn't possibly cover them in this video. I don't even know of all of them that are available. I will share with you a few of my favorites, and then there's a couple of things that I want to touch on in regard to those free resources. So number one, you might say like, that's all fine and good, but I don't even have a printer. Or it's too expensive for me to print all of the free resources that I find. I realize that's also an issue. I would look into your local library's printing policies and see what is available to be able to print at your local library. I would say if you have a printer and a laminator available, you can be very selective about what you choose to print and then try to print things that aren't as consumable as others. For example, not everything has to be printed as a one-time use item, even if it is presented that way. So I'm going to share with you a couple of my favorite free resources and then share with you ways that you can make it very minimal in terms of cost in regard to printing and laminating and reusing those things. So my very favorite place to find free resources is Homeschool Compass over on Instagram. And I know obviously they also have a website. That is how I discovered the free resources that Homeschool Compass has available. And I have used many of their resources. They have nature studies and fruits and vegetables and marine biology and farming. I'll just share a couple with you that I've used recently or that I've recently prepared to use very soon. So most recently we used the ocean or marine biology unit from Homeschool Compass. Now this has a variety of resources for a variety of different ages. Some of the resources within that file will work for your entire family, so you're doing it as like a group subject or a group activity, and then some of the resources you may find only match up with some of your kids' ages or maybe none at all. So I'll share with you just quickly what what some of this looks like. So if you don't know that this resource is available, you can simply go to their Instagram page and click on the link in their bio, and you'll see the links to their free printable resources. So for example, here's something that you would only need to print one time: map of the oceans. And then there are these printables where you'll label them. If you do have access to a laminator, that is one thing that can make this something that you can use time and time again, and even file away in wherever you like to file things and use it every year when you want to study this again. Even if you have multiple kids, you could laminate one. So for example, one of the kids could be taking a turn mapping while another kid is doing something like this handwriting page that goes along with this unit. And so again, you could use this as is and have them write in their pencil, or you could laminate it and then have them just use a dry erase marker. If you don't have a laminator, another option is to use these dry erase pouches. I use these as well. So if you don't want to laminate everything, or if again you don't have access to one, you could buy a couple of these. These are $1 at the Target dollar spot, so it's not a huge investment. I know they also have them at the dollar store. I got these at Target. And you know, have as many as you have kids, and then you could do something where one kid is working on this, another kid is working on the mapping, and then they can switch or rotate or what have you. So that's one way to utilize this free resource. There are a couple other activities that I'll just show you. You can go and download this unit if you're interested, but there are more handwriting pages. There's orca, crab, seahorse, dolphins. You have ocean vocabulary. So again, you could print this one time and save it forever, or if you don't have access to a printer, but you do have a laptop or a tablet, or if you have the ability to screencast from your phone to a TV, you don't have to print it at all. You could just pull this up and look at this together. Same thing for the ocean zones. So this is really cool. This kind of shows and breaks down the ocean zones. And then it comes with this really cute little activity. Where did I put it? Which we haven't done yet. And these are the animals, the sea creatures that go in those different ocean zones. So what I plan to do with it is I'll have one that I laminate as a guide, and then the other one that I'll either have them cut up or I'll have pre-cut. And then depending on their age, they could either use this as a guide and then place them in the appropriate spot. You don't have to have them paste it. You could simply have them put them there, and then that is not a consumable resource. Another thing that you could do is not show them the guide, not have these labeled, and then have them guess where they go and then check their answers. So lots of stuff that you can do with these free resources from Homeschool Compass. So that is the ocean one. There are some other things within that file. This is not all that's in there. So it is an amazing resource if you are trying to homeschool free or on a budget. The one that we are getting ready to use, I actually did laminate everything for, and these are in no particular order, so I'm sorry, because as I mentioned, this video was pretty impromptu, and so I didn't really plan these things out ahead of time in terms of like having them ready to go. So I'll show you what's in here just to give you another idea of this amazing free resource. We're moving out of oceans and into on the farm. So this is the cover page of what they consider their activity book. Now, I'm not making an activity book. However, I did choose to print this and laminate it because something I would do with this is have my 2.5, almost 3-year-old count particular animals, or maybe I'll say to him, like, circle the cows, put a square around the horses, something like that. So lots of activities that you can do time and time again with this, and he'll probably just enjoy scribbling on it as well. Then it has these barn animal matching cards. So these need to be cut out, and you could use like a little clothespin or a paper clip, or you could even have like, I don't know, a penny, and you have them place it on the right answer on here, or even just point to it. So they have these. This looks like a really fun little matching puzzle type game where these also need to be cut out, where they match up the animal with the sound that the animal makes. So that's super fun. There are these number counting flashcards. These need to be cut out as well, but these look really fun. Again, these are all things that I'm showing you that are non-consumable that you would need to only print one time. If you can use cardstock and laminating just makes them that much more durable. They have so many, guys, so many. They have insects. We definitely used those in the springtime when we were studying a lot of different insects. These were another one that I decided to do laminated so that these could be used over and over again and I wouldn't have to reprint them. Lastly, I decided to laminate this as well instead of printing multiple copies. It's just a farm word search, which is just another activity that can be rotated through to different kids. So those are two different examples of the multiple units that you can get from over on Homeschool Compass. I would say that you could probably do a whole year or more just from what's free over at Homeschool Compass. Another completely free resource that is available that I feel like many people know about, but I'll mention just in case there are those of you out there that don't know about it. The Good and the Beautiful has so many free curriculums on their website. These are not just unit studies like I'm showing you. These are like a complete English language arts curriculum for grades, I believe, K through 5 or 1 through 5. It's a full year of like a complete English language arts program. They also announced that they are also making available their brand new revised Simply Good and Beautiful math curriculum. So you could essentially get those two core subjects completely for free, and they are complete year-long curriculums. And then supplement with fun unit studies like the ones you find in Homeschool Compass. I believe the Good and the Beautiful also has things like marine biology and maybe another fun unit like that that you could do as well, available for free on their website. One last free thing before I just share a couple of my favorite really cheap resources with you. So these are random numbers that I'm showing you, but this is just another random example of some of the amazing free resources you can find out there. These are the road numbers, and I will link these below. I shared these in my Tot School / preschool curriculum choices for the year. Just take any little car and he just drives them on the car, and you drive your car on the number 2 road. And this is just a fun way. I did print these on cardstock and I did laminate these, but these will be good for years to come. So another way that you can take a free resource and, depending on what you have access to, make it into something that you can use time and time again. So this is also something that you could create on your own. Your kid does not care if you have drawn it yourself with crayons and construction paper or cardboard, right? So there are many ways to do these things for free that your children will still love and will still be beneficial learning activities for your kids. I'm going to share some of my favorite cheap resources with you as well. Everything that I'm going to show you is, I'm pretty sure, $1. They're all $1, and they're either from the Target dollar spot or from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to start out with the obvious flashcards. You can teach your kids things all the way from colors and shapes, numbers, letters, sight words, division, subtraction, multiplication, addition, a multitude of things using flashcards that are $1. They are non-consumable. You can save them and use them for all of your children. They are a great value. So if those were not already on your radar, let me put them on there. They're $1 at the dollar store or $1 over at the Target dollar spot. You may be saying, yeah, that's all fine and good, but my kid is past that point. You can teach them things like geography, right? Like, so I got these at Target. These are all about different states in our country. Every state has a card. It shows its geographical location, some information about it. Next up are the workbooks. And again, I know this might be super obvious, but as a teacher, as a homeschool mom, like, we can get so caught up on all the amazing curriculum that's out there and overlook some of the things that are available that are like super cheap, but still really great. I'm not saying they're all great, but I have found some that I really love. And so I'm gonna share those with you today. This is one that I just found today at the dollar store. I went to the dollar store while my kids were at VBS, and I try not to overdo it even at the dollar store, even though everything's $1. But I saw this and I looked through it. It says for ages 4 through 6. I would disagree. I would say probably ages 2.5 through 4.5, 5 years old. I shared with you guys in my curriculum haul from The Good and the Beautiful last week, the doodles and pre-writing workbook that I got for my 2.5-year-old. This is very similar to that. Now I'm very excited to use that. I think it was about $12, plus you're gonna pay a little bit of shipping when you order from The Good and the Beautiful. I think this is just as good, to be honest with you, and it was $1. So again, if you're like, that's great, but I can't afford The Good and the Beautiful unless it's their free resources, this is from the dollar store. It's the same, it's truly the same concept, and it just gets them, it's like pre-writing, right? So it gets them drawing lines in different directions. It moves up to more of like curved and squiggly lines as you progress, zigzags, shapes, stars, and ends with tracing letters at the end, just like The Good and the Beautiful doodles and pre-writing. So I was really excited to find this and really excited to share this with you guys. So if you have a Dollar Tree around you, this is by Scholastic. And I would say, again, don't pay attention to that. I know for my son, I'll be starting this with him and he's almost 3. That was from the Dollar Tree. This one is from the Target Dollar Spot. This is beginning sounds. So this will be if you are teaching beginning sounds to your kids. This is $1 at the Target Dollar Spot. Then I also have an upcoming first grader. So I'll share with you a couple of things, actually 4 things that I have for her. Something I've shared before are these morning starter books. I used the kindergarten one with my kindergartner last year. She absolutely loved it. She finished it up. And so I grabbed the first grade one, and this one has a mix of English language arts and math concepts on each page. This one focuses on addition for first grade. So just simple addition in here, and ends with adding 1-digit numbers to 2-digit numbers at the end. I got this phonics grade 1 activity book from the Target Dollar Spot. And this is really great for word families and phonics. And then this is one that I found today at Dollar Tree that I had not seen before, and this is a word families activity book as well. And so this will be a great review for Gia between her At the Pond Ready to Read 2 from Gather on Homeschool and her Snow and Ice Ready to Read book 3 that I don't want to start until it's more like winter time, which I know is weird. So I will actually be using all 4 of these as kind of like the in-between curriculum. So I will be using these 4 as curriculum for my first grader to start off the homeschool year, because I don't want to jump into ice and snow just yet. I want to review the concepts that she's been working on. While also being honest, I don't want to start ice and snow before it's winter here. I know it's weird, but I just kind of like when things work thematically that way. The first probably 2 months of school, this will be our first grade curriculum, other than like the unit studies and read alouds and just like fun activities that I'll be doing with my kids. What I will share with you is this that I got from Target. So you can even teach your child another language. There are so many different kinds of workbooks at the dollar store and the Target Dollar Spot, especially this time of year, for all different kinds of learning. So this says grades 1 through 3, but I can tell you I got this for my 5th grader. So I'm going to have him work through this pretty much independently, but you could also use this like as a family. An adult could even learn a little bit of Spanish this way. So don't always be held so strictly to the grade levels that are listed. With some things, it might hold more closely, but for something like learning Spanish, like I think that my first grader could use this, but I also think my 5th grader could use this and get a lot more out of it. So this is another example of something for $1 at the Target Dollar Spot that you can use to homeschool on a very low budget. A few more random things that I want to share with you are probably somewhat obvious, but things like pencils and crayons and erasers. There are so many things that you can get at the dollar store. I grabbed these because they were pastels and I just thought that they would be kind of fun. I got these stickers at the dollar store, so I'll do different activities with these. Thinking also about pretty cheap resources for homeschooling on a budget. I know I share thistles and biscuits all the time, and I didn't plan on making this video focus on that because I was trying to do like free and literally $1, but I use the Into the Woods gentle alphabet study with both my 2.5-year-old and my 6-year-old because there are things in that same unit that I use just with my 2.5-year-old and just with my 6-year-old, and you could use that curriculum for any age in between there, and just it depends on how you use them. So my 2.5-year-old isn't writing yet, so what I do is I have him do things like put the A, like I'll cut out the A stickers. Like today we actually did C's, and I cut out the C's and I had him put the C stickers on the C page. Or I'll have him glue little pom-poms on the C in the shape of a C. And those things are things that I get from the dollar store. Things like glue and those little pom-poms and stickers. Again, you can make it non-consumable by sticking it in one of those little dry erase pouches and then just using a dry erase marker that you got from the dollar store that they can trace or color in. That curriculum was only $6, and that could last you almost a whole year if they're working on learning their alphabet and things like that. So these are stickers that I use to go along with this. They could also use these to spell sight words and things like that. So a way for them to engage with literacy without actually having to write is sometimes a fun way to switch it up. And again, these were $1. It comes with 2 sheets, and there are anywhere from like 3 to 5 of each letter, but then also there are numbers as well, so you could do things with numbers with this too. Another thing that I found recently at the Target dollar spot that I just thought was really great were these subtraction and addition pads. I know they also had multiplication and division, but I didn't grab those. So these you could use in a multitude of different ways. There are 50 pages each, so I feel like this is a great value for $1. I plan to have my daughter use dice, which again, you can find at the dollar store if you don't have them. Roll the dice, put one of the numbers here, one of the numbers here, and then she'll do her addition problems. This is a great kind of independent activity that she can do kind of while I'm nearby. And if she needs help, I can help her. But again, a great value at the Target dollar spot. This is a super random one, but I thought that this was really great for a couple of reasons. A, it's just fun because it's an inflatable ball. But B, if you're like, yeah, I'd love to have a globe, but it's not in my budget. They have inflatable globes at the dollar store. I was so pumped I could not get this. So I'm really excited about this because I took our globe off of our homeschool cart because I felt like we weren't using it enough. And this one, I just know this is going to be fun game using this dollar globe from the dollar store. So I'm going to stop there because I could talk about this stuff all day, but I just hope that this encouraged you and showed you that if you're thinking about homeschooling, or if you're currently homeschooling and feel like things are getting expensive or you don't have the budget for it, or if you've had something happen in life where you need to scale down your homeschooling budget, hopefully this shows you that there are countless ways to homeschool for free and for very cheap out there. So if you use any of these resources, let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. If you're new here, please introduce yourself in the comments. I truly love getting to know you guys. States and different parts of the country and different countries through YouTube and Instagram. If you are not following me over on Instagram, you can follow me over there at rooted_homeschool. I share a lot over there, more of like our day-to-day life, kind of how we do lessons and curriculum, and just a peek into what our life is like on a daily basis. So if you are not already subscribed, I would love if you would subscribe, stick around, click the notifications bell so that you know when we have a new video coming out. I can tell you tomorrow I am sharing with you homeschool planning. So not all things homeschool planning. I've selected just a couple things to touch on tomorrow. If you're interested in how I plan, definitely come back tomorrow for that video. And then on Thursday, I'll be talking to you guys all about how we do read alouds in our homeschool and some of the read alouds that we'll be doing for next school year, for this coming school year. So I hope to see you in one of my next videos, and until next time, stay rooted.